Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to the EBM Scholars, and today I'm going to talk about the possible lawsuit for the DV 2021 winners. We are very sure, and we all remember, the American Immigration Lawyers Association, ILA, filed for the lawsuit for the DV 2020 winners, and they won that lawsuit. And it was the judge was Judge Mehta. And the decision was very clear. I will go ahead in a few minutes to come to explain what was the argument and what was the judgment. And with that the same ILA, the American Immigration Lawyers Association, will they go, and they are planning to go to file for the DV 2021, and they will use the same similar arguments. Will they win or not be able to win? And what will that be? Have any implication for the winners for the DV 2021 and also other types of visas. Welcome, this is EBM Ernest Boniface Makulilo talking to my home office here in Belton, Missouri. If today is your first time to come to my YouTube channel, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/EBM Scholars. So let me go very straightforward to topic of the day, the lawsuit. I will go back to the DV 2020. When I talk about DV 2020, I mean those people who applied for the year 2018. The results came the 2019 to come to the 2020, which the fiscal year ended in September, end of September. So now we are DV 2022. They are processing for the DV 2021 winners. So, but we all know that the DV winners for the DV 2021 have not been able to be given a second letter notification to go to the visa interview. Why is that? Is because of the immigration suspension, which the first one came out in April, the second one came in June, which had 6 months until end of December. So because of that, people have not been able to be given the second notification letter to go to the visa interview by KCC. So what does that mean? Why this one is happening right now? Let's go to revisit the DV 2020 lawsuit by American Immigration Lawyers Association. So when they did the lawsuit, they won the lawsuit. And the arguments which were put forward were very clear, that the presidential executive order was very clear that they are going to stop people from entering into America. But the lawsuit had no mandate, had no authority, and didn't specify in the lawsuit that to instruct the embassies to not give the visas to people. The job of the U.S. Embassy is to give someone a visa. So this is a vastly different. It's a difference between the immigration suspension and a travel ban. A travel ban is clearly stating don't give the visa of this kind to the citizens of this particular country. That is a travel ban. But this the suspension is suspending people to enter. The travel ban is banning everyone for the certain type of visas. For instance, people in Tanzania, they are in the travel ban of one type of visa, the green card lottery visa, different from people from Somalia. So if, for instance, the people from Tanzania, so whether there is suspension, whether there is no suspension, you cannot be able to be given the visa of that particular type, which is under the travel ban. So this is different. The travel ban gives a specific and instruction to the U.S. Embassy, don't issue the visa of this kind to these individuals from this particular country. But the immigration suspension presidential executive order didn't give that instruction. It is just instruct or just give the homeland or the officers at the port of entry not allowing you to come to America. So for that case, U.S. embassies, they are supposed to continue to issue the visas, and it's the responsibility of that person whether to travel or not to travel following the laws or the executive order. In that way, if you have won the green card lottery, you are supposed to be given your interview date and go to the U.S. Embassy, being interviewed, be given the visa. So failure or for you to travel or not to travel is you and the travel ban, not be allowed to enter. So if you travel on your own and there is a suspension, you cannot be able to enter into the US. At the port of entry, they will stop you and tell you, no, you are citizen from these countries, they are on the suspension. But you have the visa. But the good thing is, the visa is valid for 6 months. So if the visa is valid for 6 months, so that means my inclination was, you are supposed to be given excuse me, let me have some drink a little bit. It was very clear that they could continue issuing the visa. So if the October passed, they continue supposed to issue the visa, but because people have 6 months to travel, they could continue to travel after the travel suspension, the suspension which is on supposed to end in December. So ILA is going to do that, the lawsuit. So if it's going to do the lawsuit, it will be very simple decision, because it will be simple judgment, because the judge is going to use a precedence of the previous judgment from Judge Mehta. So they are going to use the same arguments, and they are going to submit the same judgment from Judge Mehta, which for the DV2020 winners, they are going to use that one for the DV2021, and that will be it will be a slam dunk decision very quickly, and they are going to win. But myself, I'm surprised why the KCC could not continue, because if the judgment already instructed the US embassies to provide the visas, and the people given the visas, though not many people were given the visa for the DV2020, but they could continue issuing the visas as normal, but people after being given the visa could not be able to travel because of the suspension. So myself, I'm confused why they stopped to issue the second notification letter, because the judgment clearly states that people are not restricted, are not supposed to not be given. People are supposed to be going to the US embassy, be given the visa as normal. So that is something happening. So there is a new lawsuit will be coming up, and that lawsuit, obviously they're going to win. And if the suspension, I believe the suspension will end this December, but if they are not going to do that suspension, that means the lawsuit will clear by itself by ending it, and the visas will start being issued as supposed to be. So on the video I was explaining, the other video was explaining about whether the immigration suspension will end or not end. This will be another reason. So if there is a possible lawsuit over there, and myself, I know for sure I'm going to lose, because the previous lawsuit I didn't win. So obviously I'm going to end the suspension, because even if I continue to keep with the suspension, I'm going to lose by the court of law. So this is another reason why the suspension will end by itself before the lawsuit. So the lawsuit will end it. So better to end it before, like, being said, oh, you ended it because you lost the lawsuit. So better to do it quicker. Just like how there was a lawsuit about international students the previous time, about international students, they have to be studying on campus despite of the pandemic. So when the universities went to the court to sue the government, so the government is sat down with the universities, and they came with a plan, so they resolved that situation out of the court. So the same situation I see, this is the similar situation, because for sure 100% ILA is going to win this case, because they won already for the same arguments. So why should you continue to keep the suspension for something we know something will happen? So most likely December they are going to end the suspension, or if they don't end, the administration doesn't end by themselves, they are going to face the lawsuit, and they are going to lose by lawsuit, and again the visas will continue to be issued as soon as possible. So we are looking forward to see more updates about this situation. So I would like to say thank you everyone for your continued support of the EBM Scholars channel, and I wish you a very productive December and the upcoming Christmas. Thank you so much, everyone, and goodbye.